Hi, Hugo. Good evening.
Hey Anna, hey Miss, good evening.
Is everything good?
Sorry?
I'm sorry.
I can hear you very well. What happened? Tell me, teacher.
Can you listen to me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So how was your day?
Um, that was very busy, but that's okay. That's okay, no problem. I'm very happy because I could get some rewards in this day because I did an excellent job in a championship because we are in a championship in my school. Then I could get some rewards this day. Then was fantastic.
All right, that's good to know. Congratulations.
Thank you, Miss.
Don't worry. So, Pao, good evening.
Good evening, teacher.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm working now.
Yes, I could imagine. That was I was near to say you, right? To tell you, right, that maybe you are busy right now. I couldn't reply to your message, to your yesterday's message, right? But I hope everything goes well, Pao. Be patient.
Yes, teacher. Don't worry about the message. I am so busy, so I have many time.
No, don't worry. Take it easy, right? Try to organize your time and be patient with it, right? The best advice is try to be patient with it.
Yeah, thank you, teacher.
All right. So we're going to start in 1 minute, please. I'm gonna bring me some water. So please wait for it. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Teacher.
So I'm back, right? So I don't know what's going on with your classmates. Well, I want to ask you something. Do you have the? Can you show us the presentation for today? Because I approved yours.
Sorry, teacher, from with my cell phone.
Oh, no way. But you sent me by to my WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
All right, I can share it with you, and you're going to export it, or you're going to present it in front of us, right?
Okay.
All right, thank you. So, Hugo, I didn't approve yours, so you're going to do it the next class, right? Well.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So don't forget to prepare yours. And Wilson, good evening.
Good evening, teacher.
How was your day?
Not bad, teacher, I think.
That's good to know, I guess. So, guys, I don't know if, well, I'm going to speak this part in Spanish. Estoy solicitando permiso para el día viernes, porque es mi cumpleaños, entonces es el único día donde puedo compartir con mi familia, porque todos, bueno, trabajo todo el día y también estudio, entonces es el único momento donde puedo estar con ellos. Aparte de que mi familia está llegando de otro país, entonces voy a estar con ellos porque luego ya se van. Así que justamente por ese motivo estoy pidiendo permiso en el trabajo. A la coordinadora me preguntó si es que no habría algún problema con ustedes. Estaríamos reemplazando la clase para el día sábado, no este sábado, el siguiente sábado. No sé si tienen tiempo por la mañana. Sería 1:45 la clase que tendríamos que reemplazar, es decir, el día, esta es nuestra tercera semana de clase. El viernes 26 estaríamos postergando las clases, si es que ustedes pudieran. Y la estaríamos reponiendo el sábado 3. Pasa de que el sábado tengo una capacitación. Vamos a tomar un examen, right? Entonces están preparados para tomar otro examen. Entonces estamos recibiendo capacitaciones y es casi toda la mañana, right? Entonces, no sé si pudieran ya en la última semana de clase, como es la tercera y la última semana de clase, el sábado 3, que sea nuestra última clase, porque tendríamos que terminar el viernes 2 y ya empezar, bueno, retomar la clase de este día viernes por el sábado 3. No sé si podrían, chicos. O bueno, a ver, voy a preguntar una pregunta. Hugo, are you going to be free for that day?
What time, teacher?
In the morning.
Yes, but we have
Maybe
different.
maybe at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. is 8 a.m. for me. Oh, excellent, excellent. 8 a.m. is for me, excellent. No problem.
All right, thank you, Hugo. How about you, Paul?
Teacher, I'm work on Saturday.
Oh my goodness. All right, thank you, Paul. How about you, Wilson?
Yes, teacher, I think I can in the morning, but I don't know in the afternoon.
I'm sorry, can you at the afternoon? At afternoon?
Yes, Saturday in the morning.
¿Prefieres en la mañana, Wilson?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I couldn't understand that part. So, vamos a esperar a los demás, Pau, si no te voy a tener que explicar a ti aparte, right? So, is that okay for you, Pau? Pau, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
All
Sorry.
right. Yes, I know you're working, don't worry. So we're going to start with the class of today, guys. It's not difficult, right? Even though it's one of the lessons that I like the most, because that's my lesson, you know. I made an investigation. Well, I'm still on it at my university, right? And I'm making it with one of my professors, right? And it's about the clauses, right? But in Spanish, it works in a different way. So it's very interesting, right? So, yes, I'm studying languages, right? Estoy estudiando la carrera de lingüística aplicada a la enseñanza de lenguas, right? So my investigation is about the clauses, you know, but in Spanish, right? So it's kind of difficult, but I really love my career, right? So everything that is related with languages, with what else? With clauses, you know, everything. I really love it. To learn languages, that's my passion, right? So and you know, something that is similar, right? In French, it's similar to this, right? In the structure, it's almost similar to this. right? So let's start. Let's listen this audio, please.
Hi, you're just the person I wanted to see. There's something that we need to discuss today. It has to do with object-adjective clauses. These are the clauses that we use to identify the object of the sentence. Let's take a look at them.
All right. So today's lesson is going to be about the object-adjective clauses, right? So, for example, the person that I wanted to see, something that we need to discuss, the clauses that we use. These clauses, right? This is going to help you, right? At the moment that you are going to take, for example, your TOEFL, and then they're going to ask you to write an essay, right? Les dan 20 minutos para escribir un ensayo y estos object-adjective clauses nos ayudan demasiado para cuando vayamos a querer escribir ensayos, especialmente en el TOEFL. Nos dan una lectura que tenemos que hacerla en 3 minutos y nos dan 20 minutos para escribir un ensayo, right? Y esto de los object-adjective clauses es un poco más gramática que otra cosa, right? Because in spoken English, we use it, but we directly omit this that, right? The person I wanted to see, that's all. I don't use that. And we're get used to because in Spanish, right? We use the article. Well, it's not an article in Spanish, right? But this word que, la persona que quería ver, algo que quería hacer, las cláusulas que quería ver, que usamos, entonces en castellano utilizamos de manera incorrecta. Por eso es que tal vez es un poco más complicado para quienes somos nativos del castellano, esto de los object-adjective clauses. But it's not difficult, right? So let's start. I'm going to turn off my camera. All right. So let's listen this first. Oh no, it was okay. All right, let's listen this first audio.
Adjective clauses, also called relative clauses, identify nouns or indefinite pronouns, such as one, someone, and something. Adjective clauses often answer the question, which one or which one.
You're the two people I wanted to see.
I wanted to see is an adjective clause. It identifies the two people. In other words, Nick wanted to see these particular people.
All right. So I don't know if we seen this before. Maybe Wilson. Can you identify if we saw something before like this?
Sorry, teacher, I didn't hear you well.
Do you remember if we saw something like this before?
Yes, teacher.
All right, give me a second.
We did who, that.
Oh, yes. Give me a second. No, yes, that's a lesson of today. What's going on? Am I getting confused? No. Do you remember, Wilson, in what course? Can you please help me with it?
It was in the last one, I think. I can't remember, but we did it.
Yes. Yes, I showed you a video about it. No, it was not a video, but I don't remember. But I don't remember what was exactly the lesson. Reported imperatives. Was that the lesson? No, it wasn't. Oh gosh. All right. Tal vez hayamos visto en otra, no es presentación, en otra gramática, pero sí es la lección que nos corresponde, right? Debe ser que está un poco más, all right. Debe ser que está un poco más un poco más específica porque no me explico. Or I'm gonna look for that lesson, but meanwhile, I'm going to continue explaining, right? Si es que lo hemos visto, me acuerdo que sí hemos visto con ustedes, pero debe ser que no hemos entrado en detalles, tal vez, right? O solo hemos visto los, ¿cómo se llaman? Los connectors, right? But we're going to see, and yes, we're going to continue, right? So, let's start. The adjective clauses, right, are called relative clauses, right? So it helps us to identify which noun or how many nouns are we going to have in one sentence, right? It could be, we know them with two names, right? The first one is identify nouns, right? Nouns or indefinite pronouns, right? Such as one, someone, and something, right? You're going to understand with examples below, right? So adjective clauses often answer questions, which one or which ones, right? So in the example, you are the two people I wanted to see, right? So in that, in this sentence, right, we have this word, or well, this clause I wanted to see, right? This is one clause, right? Natalie, do you remember what is the definition of clause?
I remember that it's a part of the sentence, could be a consequence. For example, when we saw sentences with if, we had the if clause and the consequent clause.
All right, thank you. You were almost there, but it's not the definition of it, right? But thank you, Natalie, you were new. So the clause, right? It's we have independent clauses, we have dependent clauses, right? And you're going to see this lection forward, right? It's not part of the module, right? It's part of the grammar, only grammar, right? So, but fastly, a clause, right? It's one statement, right? That it's complete. When I say complete, I mean we have the subject, the verb, and the complement. That's a complete clause, right? And it can be understood by itself, right? If I'm not going to have the complement, the sentence is still understood, right? So that's the meaning of clause, right? It's a sentence, right? This sentence is a clause. Why? Because I have my subject in my verb, the rest, my complement, right? So that's a clause, right? So relative clauses or adjective clauses, though, give us information about the person or thing mentioned, right? For example, you are the two people, right? I'm going to choose another color, right? So until this part, how many clauses do I have? Maybe Hugo, can you identify how many clauses do I have in this sentence?
One, maybe. You.
Well, 1 and 2, right? Because I have my subject, my verb, my complement. I have my subject, my verb, and my complement, right? So I have 2 clauses in this one. So, thank you, Hugo. In this one, right, I wanted to see, right, this second clause, right, is the adjective clause, right? It identifies the two people in the words Nick wanted to see this particular person, people, sorry, because it's plural, right? So you are the two people that I wanted to see. So basically, right, I wanted to see is providing more information about it, right? So it's giving us information about, in this case, about people, right, that I wanted to see. So let's continue. with the second.
Adjective clauses often begin with a relative pronoun, such as who or that. The relative pronoun refers to a noun or pronoun outside the adjective clause. The rest of the adjective clause tells more about that noun or pronoun. This is the recording that I told you about. The relative pronoun is that. It refers to recording. The adjective clause is that I told you about. It gives information about the recording.
All right. So now let's ask to Larissa. Can you identify, Larissa, my relative pronoun in this sentence?
This is the recording I told you about is the adjective clauses. Relative pronoun is that.
All right, the relative pronoun, right?
Yes.
The relative pronoun, thank you, Larissa. The relative pronoun is that, right? When I say that, it refers to the recording, right? And then the adjective clause, right? I'm going to write it. I'm going to draw in another color. I told you about, right? It's the adjective clause, right? It's the adjective clause, right? So why is it called adjective clause? An adjective clause, because it gives information about what the recording, right? So to join this first clause with this another clause with the second clause, I need a connector, right? And this is going to be my connector that it is called relative pronoun. It is not necessary, guys, to put it in all the statements, right? We can replace it, right, by another one, or we can just omit it, right? This is the recording I told you about. It could be a good answer though, right? Because it's not necessary, right? So one more time. I have two clauses in this one. This is the recording, right? This is an independent clause, right? And this other one, I'm sorry, this is a dependent clause, right? And this other one I told you about is my second clause. So until this part, I have two clauses. I need to connect to these two clauses in one. How can I do it? This connector called relative pronoun is going to help me to join this first clause with the second clause, right? It's up to you if you decide to use it or not. It's not necessary, right? So it refers, when I say that, or when I use my relative pronoun, right, it's trying to give me information about something, someone, right? In this case, I have the recording. So that is helping me to identify my object, right? And it is the recording, right? So this is my noun. When I use the relative pronoun, I'm making reference to the recording, right? Then the adjective clause, right, is that I told you about, right? I told you about directly. I told you about. This is my adjective clause. Why is it called adjective clause? Because it gives information, or it gives information about it is helping, right? It is helping me to provide more information about the recording, right? So, for example, this is the tape that I told you about. Let's see the structure of that sentence. Wilson, can you please help me?
Yes, teacher.
Go ahead. I choose my relative pronoun. Which is my
Well,
sorry.
the relative pronoun is that. The adjective clause is I told you about.
All right, thank you. how is the relative pronoun working, or what is its job in this sentence?
Well, Talia says that she has a tape, and that tape, she told, I don't know who, I don't know whom, but she told, or she said about that tape.
All right.
She
We
knows.
have to be punctual, right? My question is, what is the function of the relative pronoun in this sentence, right? So that is making reference to my object. What is my object? The tape, right? And now, what is the function of I told you about?
Give information about the tape.
Yes, thank you. My adjective clause, right? The adjective clause in this sentence is I told you about. That is called give me a second. Where's my pen? All right. And it is called the adjective clause, right? The adjective clause that in this sentence is I told you about is providing information, right? About what? Wilson, about what?
About the tape.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, thank you. Good job. Thank you. So that's everything, right? Give me a second. Oh, I'm gonna do it for parts, right? So one more time for the students who joined recently, who just joined, right? We're talking about the relative. I'm sorry, the adjective. Yes, the relative clauses, right? It could call. We can call that as adjective clauses, right? And the relative clauses give us information about the person or thing mentioned, right? And then we usually use relative pronoun or adverb to start defining relative clause, right? For example, we can use who, which, that, when, where, whose, right? So is everything clear until this part, guys?
Yes, teacher, I think.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. Hugo, is it clear?
Yes, but I'm trying to get.
Which part, or what is the part that you couldn't understand?
Well, we have relative pronoun and adjective clause, right? Two elements.
Yes.
Okay. For example, Talia, this is the tape that I told you about. Yeah, relative pronoun is that, and I told you about this. An adjective clause is for give information, right? For giving information.
Yeah, the adjective clause, right, or the relative clause, is this part. In this sentence, is this part I told you about. So the relative clause, right, Hugo, it helps us to give information about something, right? So in this case, it's about something, right? What is that something? The tape. That's gonna be my object, right?
Right. Okay. I got it. I think.
All right. No, don't worry. It's a little bit complex, right? Because it's grammar, right? But you're gonna get it. Don't worry, right? So let's continue. Let's listen this audio.
The relative pronoun combines two sentences into one sentence. That's the video. Talia made the video. That's the video that Talia made.
All right, that's what I told you, right? In one sentence, right, or in one statement, we have two clauses, right? puedo suponer que no está hablando de clauses, o sea, no está llamando en sí clauses, porque es una lección muy aparte, ¿sí? Es mucho más de gramática. Les voy a mostrar un ensayo que estábamos haciendo con uno de mis estudiantes, que justamente estamos avanzando esto, pero ya para ensayo, right? Ella va a tomar su TOEFL, creo que en octubre, y justamente esto nos va a servir demasiado. Yo sé que parece algo súper aburrido y letras y gramática. No es tan gramática puntual, es un poco más en general, pero les va a servir demasiado para escribir ensayos. De lo contrario, no fuera necesario ver esta lección, right? Así que básicamente los relative clauses, right? Son dos oraciones que están unidas por un conector. Este conector se lo conoce como the relative pronoun, right? Este relative pronoun no siempre es necesario, es decir, en spoken English, right? Ya si quieren lo utilizan, si quieren no hay ningún problema. Es muy informal no usar, y lo cual está bien, ¿no? En spoken English está súper bien. Pero al momento de escribir nos vemos en la necesidad de usar para que nuestro ensayo tenga más cohesión, right? Tenga más coherencia al momento de expresar, right? Entonces, es básicamente eso. Tenemos dos oraciones, right? Puede ser completa o incompleta, que son unidas por un conector, right? Ese es el relative pronoun, right? Entonces, es una combinación de ambas. So, that's the video that Talia made, right? So, I'm gonna ask to Natalie.
Yes, teacher.
Natalie, can you please help me to understand the structure of this sentence?
Well, first the first clause, then the relative pronoun that.
Why? What did I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I got it. All right. This is the relative pronoun. What else do I have in this sentence?
And the adjective clause.
All right. Is that the adjective clause?
Yes.
All right. It is called adjective clause. I'm so sorry because of my weather is not good, right? It's not the best. Now, Natalie, what is the function of the relative pronoun in that sentence?
It's combining two sentences in one.
All right, but which is my object in this sentence?
The
Where is
video.
my object? Yes, this is my object, right? This is my object. So, what is the other function of that? Or where is working on?
Giving information about the video.
No, the relative clause is working or it's making reference on the video, on my object, right? And then what function does the adjective clause is doing?
Giving information about the video.
Yes, we are giving, well, in this case, it's providing or giving information. Well, directly, yes, like that. So thank you, Natalie. That's all, right? So let's continue.
In object-adjective clauses, the relative pronoun is the object of the verb in the adjective clause. In the following sentence, the verb is heard. The object of the verb is conversation.
We heard the conversation. The conversation will clear Nick's name. The conversation that we heard will clear Nick's name.
All right.
When the sentence changes to an adjective clause, the object of the verb is the relative pronoun that. Notice that the relative pronoun always comes first in an adjective clause.
All right, I guess that's all. So let's see. In objective, in object adjective clauses, right? The relative pronoun is the object of the verb in the adjective clause. So let's see the example. We heard the conversation, right? So until this part, I don't have a relative pronoun, right? I have my verb that is heard, it's in the past, and the conversation could be, or maybe the object, right? Of what? Of this one, right? So this is the object of heard, right? We heard. What do you heard? The conversation, right? So if you don't know, you may ask you maybe, for example, if you can't identify the object in one sentence, maybe the best idea could be to ask yourself, for example, we heard. What do you heard? What in this case, what did you heard? Did you hear? Sorry, the conversation, right? That's one way to identify the object, right? I could imagine that maybe you saw this in high school, right? Because that's one lesson of high school. Then in this sentence, right, I have my relative pronoun. So my next student, please, Daniel, can you please help me to identify what do I have in this sentence? What is the object? What is the relative clause? What is the adjective clause? I'm sorry, the relative pronoun.
Hello, teacher. Good evening.
Hi.
Well, I'm not sure, but I can try. Yeah, the adjective pronoun or relative pronoun is that we hear. The object is conversation. What else?
What is we heard?
The relative pronoun.
No, this is the relative pronoun, that.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So it could be the adjective clause.
Yes, the adjective clause, right? All right. So I'm sorry, I got one message of your classmates. Give me a second. This bow, my goodness. All right. Sure. All right. Sorry, Paul sent me a message, right? She was asking for permission, right? So, well, we're going to see one more time, right? The conversation that we heard will clear Nick's name. Let's see the structure. First, I have to identify in this sentence, right? Let's start saying that I have two clauses, right? The first one is the conversation. The conversation, yes, could be, right? But it's not. It's an incomplete clause, right? It's an dependent clause, right? Cuando las clauses son bueno, lo vamos a ver más adelante, pero cuando las clauses no son, no están completas y dependen de otro clause, se les llama cláusulas dependientes, right? So this is a clause, right? And then I have that, we heard, right? And this is my second one, right? Incluso hasta acá puedo sacar otro tiempo verbal, pero ya es muy aparte, right? Vamos a decir directamente que es mi segundo clause, right? So in this second clause, right, I have an adjective clause, right? So I need to join my first clause with my second clause. How can I do it? For that, I'm going to use a connector. This connector is called a relative pronoun, that. This relative pronoun, that, works on my object. What is my object? The conversation, right? This works on this one, on this object, the conversation, right? So, what else do I have? We heard, right? This is going to be my adjective clause. Why is it called an adjective clause? Because it provides information about what? About the conversation that it's my object, right? That's all. So one more time. I have two clauses. My first clause is the conversation. My second clause could be that we heard will clear next name, right? So I need to join, right? We're going to meet the relative pronoun, right? So the conversation and we heard will clear next name. So I have two clauses. I need to join, right? Those clauses. So for that, I'm going to use my connector. That connector, it is called relative pronoun, right? So the function of the relative pronoun is to join sentence one, and sentence two. What else? That, right? The relative pronoun that works on the object. What is my object? The conversation, right? It's the noun. In my second clause, I have we heard will clear next name. In this second clause, I have an adjective clause. How do I know if that could be, or well, if that is my adjective clause? Because it's providing information, right? So now what else do I have? And yes, that's all, right? We can omit that, the relative pronoun, but as I told you, writing, it's going to be necessary, right? So, Daniela, I don't know now if it's clear.
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
All right. How about the rest of the class? Wilson, is everything clear?
Yes, teacher, everything is clear.
All right. What else? Oh, yes, something that is going to help you, right? I jumped from that part. Is that the relative pronoun, right? Always comes first, right? On my second clause, right? En la segunda oración, el pronoun, right? Siempre va al principio, es decir, como que es un conector, pero es un conector haciendo referencia a la primera oración que va al principio de la segunda oración, right? That's all. So let's continue.
We can use the relative pronoun who or that when the object of the adjective clause is a person.
There's someone who I have to go see.
Or
There's someone that I have to go see.
we can also use the relative pronoun whom when the object is a person, but this is very formal.
The soccer player whom the Federation is investigating is the very popular Nick Crawford.
All right, I guess that's all. Yes. All right, so let's see the use of, give me a second, who and that. So we can use who or that to talk about people, right? That is more common and a bit more informal, right? So for example, if I'm going to say, she's the woman who cuts my hair, or he's the man that I met at the conference, right? I'm gonna write it then. So I want to explain these examples first, right? So there is someone who I have to go see, right? So how does it work? Larissa, can you please help me to see the structure in this sentence?
Okay. Who is the relative pronoun? Someone is the subject, the object, and I have to go see is the adjective clause.
Thank you. It could be called adjective clause or relative clause, right? Thank you, Larissa. Adjective clause. Now, Larissa, what is the function of the relative pronoun?
Who is to refer to someone?
All right. So you're telling me that the relative pronoun is working on the object, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. It refers to the object, right? In this case, it's someone. Then what is the function of the adjective clause or the relative clause?
I have to go. In the action we have to someone. Because
Right? The function of the adjective clause or the relative clause is to provide or to give information, right? Thank you, Hugo, you got it, right? That's the function of the adjective clause. Thank you, right? So that's all, right? And something you forgot is there's someone, first clause. I have to go see, second clause. This is gonna be my connector, who, my relative pronoun, right? Then there is someone that I have to go see. In this other sentence, yes, I'm using that, right? As I told you, right? That is more common, right, in spoken English and a bit more informal, right? By the other hand, when I'm gonna use who, it's more formal, right? So that could be, and the meaning is the same, right? The only thing is that the one is more formal than the other one, right? So let's continue. Give me a second. All right, I have another example. So Wilson, can you please help me to identify or help me to see the structure of this other sentence?
Okay. Whom is the relative pronoun, and the object is the soccer player, and the federation is investigating is the relative clause.
All right. So thank you. Well, we have another use of you may know. And yes, I remember I told you the other day what is the meaning of whom, right? The soccer playing whom the federation is investigating is the very popular Nick Crawford, right? So we're going to use whom when the object is a person, but this is very formal, right? And I told you the other day, right? It could be translated, right, by de quién, right, whom. Por eso es que se dice que es un poco más formal, mucho más formal, más allá de utilizar, porque ambos utilizan tanto relative pronoun who como whom. Claro que esto es formal y el whom es mucho más formal. Muy aparte de eso, right, el who puede ser traducido como quién y el whom de quién o a quién en su defecto, right? Así que hay que tener mucho cuidado al momento de traducir, right? Porque les va a salir varias opciones y está bien porque sí puede ser una de las traducciones más cercas, pero solo nos va a ayudar al momento de traducir, porque cuando ya estemos hablando, utilizando el término, el relative pronoun whom, pasa desapercibido, right? So, what else? Let's continue.
We use the relative pronoun that or which when the object is a thing.
My conversation wasn't the only one that she recorded.
Or
My conversation wasn't the only one which she recorded.
That is more common than which in informal conversation.
All right. So we have the use of which and that again. That, bueno, vulgarmente hablando, se dice que es un comodín. Cuando no sabemos qué utilizar en spoken English, utilizamos that o sencillamente se omite, no hay ningún problema. Okay, so let's see this example, right? Oh, we can use which or that to talk about things, right? Again, that is more common, right? And a bit more informal, right? So my conversation wasn't the only one that she recorded. My conversation wasn't the only one which she recorded, right? So let's see who is going to help me. Hugo, can you please help me to identify the structure of this sentence?
Okay. My conversation wasn't the only one that she recorded. That is the connector or relative pronoun. She recorded this adjective clauses. And my conversation is an object. Conversation.
Thank you.
Is
Thank
correct?
you. Thank you. Yes, that's the correct one, right? So, quiero que noten algo. Cuando digo my conversation wasn't the only one that she recorded, right? Vamos a tener oraciones similares, pero es un poco más específico, right? Son dos oraciones, pero que está como que hay, se está haciendo referencia a la misma, right? So, my conversation está haciendo referencia a the only one, right? Y está bien. So, por eso es que está marcado con otro color. Sin embargo, one está haciendo referencia a conversation, right? So, my conversation, right, or the only one is the object, right? It's only one. That is the relative pronoun, right? So, Hugo, what is the function of the relative pronoun in this sentence?
Relative pronouns to connect the adjective clause.
All
That,
right, thank you. What else?
Refers. Refers.
Thank you. So that refers to my conversation because it's my object, So this is going to be my object, right? And when I use the relative pronoun, right, it's making reference, right, to my conversation or the only one, right? It's the same. And then I have the adjective clause. What is the function of the adjective clause?
Get information.
Thank you. That's all, right? Let's see this other one. I'm not gonna ask to someone to do it because it's the same, right? This is the relative pronoun, but this is more formal than that, right? And this is the adjective clause or the relative clause, right? This is the relative pronoun, and my object is the conversation, right? My conversation, well, the conversation, and the only one that is linked, right? And that's all, right? Do you have any question until this part, guys?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Thank you.
Relative pronouns don't change forms. They're the same for singular and plural objects. They're also the same for male and female objects.
that's the man who I saw.
Those are the women who I saw.
All right. So no tiene género, en otras palabras, right? I could use who for plural, or I can use who for singular, right? That's the man. One more time. Pau, can you please help me to identify or to see the structure in this sentence? Oh, but Paul is not here. I forgot. Larissa, can you please help me?
Who is the relative pronoun? The man is the object. And I saw is I forget, the adjective clause.
Thank you. Thank you, Larissa. What is the function of the relative pronoun?
Is to refer to the object.
It works on the object, right? It refers to the object. What is the function of the adjective clause?
And so is give the information.
Yes. Thank you. Right. That's all, right? So thank you, Larissa. So as you can see, I have men that it's in singular. I have women that it's plural form, is a plural form, and I'm not changing anything, right? I just say like that, right? So let's continue with the last point.
We often leave out the object relative pronoun. This is very common in informal conversation and writing. Talia's the one Nick wants to see.
Newsline is the show I always watch.
All right. So as I told you at the beginning, right? You can omit it, right? Sometimes the relative pronoun is not going to appear, right? And it's okay, right? This is very common in informal conversations. When it says in writing, right? It depends, right? Es depende de cuán formal ustedes quieran parecer al momento de escribir. Me refiero a letters, for example, we have essays, right? Es muy depende. Ahora sí, se utiliza demasiado porque en spoken, right? Me refiero a quienes aprenden el inglés como un segundo idioma porque en castellano se lo utiliza demasiado. Este es el celular que me compré, right? Es la camisa que boté al basurero, que ese que se utiliza demasiado. Pero depende de ustedes finalmente si usar o no usar, right? Tally is the one Nick wants to see. I'm not using my any relative pronoun, right? Newsline is the show I always watch, right? I'm not using any relative pronoun. I could replace by that, right? Who, Talia is the one because I'm talking about Talia. That's my object. Newsline, I could use which, right? Because I'm talking about Newsline, or I can replace by that. And that's all, guys. I don't know if you have any question. Is everything clear?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher, is clear.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I guess I have any say about it. I was reviewing that one of my students, right? But I don't know if we're using relative clauses in that one. Let me check. I want to show you an example of it. All right. No, creo que no tengo un ejemplo. Estaba viendo, pero creo que no. A ver, creo que es acá. Es que esa chica está haciendo puros ensayos y... Pero les quería mostrar un ejemplo. Ok. Oh, no. Right. I'm going to share my screen with you. Right. Esta estudiante, por ejemplo, está escribiendo un ensayo, bueno, ya escrito, right? What would you do if public transportation were better than now, right? So, in this part, right? Como es un ensayo, le corregí algunas partes, pero no es específicamente ese ensayo, creo, si no estoy mal. Sí, al momento de escribir les va a servir hartísimo los relative pronouns, right? Los adjective clauses, porque es parte de una estructura lastimosamente. Y digo lastimosamente porque no, es depende de la persona que vamos a hablar y demás. Pero sí les va a servir para más adelante cuando hagamos ensayos, right? Notas de 85 porque tiene errores de cohesión y demás. Y la cohesión, ¿cómo se puede arreglar? Con los relative pronouns, right? Con los adjective clauses, right? So, then that's all. Now, guys, we're going to practice, right? We're going to open Classroom. Oh, yes, I already opened. All right, give me a second. So, where is our... Oh, I didn't post it. All right, I'm gonna post it right now. I forgot. Give me a second, right? Meanwhile, please join into Classroom, right? So I'm doing so loud. I'm sorry, my dogs. I don't know what's going on with them. So all right, guys. Now, can you please refresh Classroom? Now the document is gonna appear. Right, so this is gonna be your homework. Right, not your homework now. You're going to work this right now. So we have 2 exercises, if I'm not wrong. 3 exercises, right? So in the first one, right, you have a short introduction about what is an adjective clause, right? Then we have the first one. You have to underline the adjective clause in each of the following sentence. You have to circle the word it modifies, right? For example, the book that you wrote has just been published, right? So in this sentence, you have to identify which one is the adjective clause and which one is the relative pronoun, right? Or the relative, yes. I'm not gonna confuse you, right? And you have 20 sentences in that one, right? Then in the second part, in the sentences below, underline with one line the adjective clause, and with 2 lines the word it modifies, right? Ya habíamos visto esto, acabamos de practicar in person, right? And as a last exercise, you have to combine the pairs of sentences by changing the only line sentence to an adjective clause, right? A wren was trying to build a nest. It had been injured, right? Acá ya pueden ver utilizar el relative pronoun, right? Y identificar cuál es el adjective clause, right? And that's all, right? So, Pau, are you here? Pau 1, Pau 3, and Pau 4. All right.
Sorry, teacher.
Pau, now can you, are you able to work or not?
Yes,
yet?
I'm able to work, but I am with my cell phone, so The other person needs to share the screen, please.
All right. All right. Thank you, Pao. So we're going to open. Now we are in pairs, right? Because I told you the other day that we're not gonna work in pairs anymore, but because it's a big practice, right? And because of the time we have only 30 minutes, we're going to do it, right? So, chicos, por favor, trabajen. Voy a estar entrando igual, de todas maneras yo miro los videos. Yo sé quiénes trabajan, pero por favor no se olviden de trabajar, ¿sí? No, porque finalmente es para ustedes, ¿sí? Voy a estarles controlando y quien no esté trabajando lo voy a expulsar del breakout room, right? So, if you don't have any question, right? Let's do it. Give me a second. I'm going to change to the students. They're going to work with one. All right, so good job. All right, guys, see you in a moment.
Teacher, I changing my computer. I'm going to leave one of the sessions.
All right.
All right, I'm here. I'm going to join.
Te aparece el oh, all right.
Teacher, excuse me.
Wilson, what happened?
I don't know. I tried to share my screen, but I don't know
You
what
were
happened.
with Pao, right?
Yes.
All right. Try one more time, please.
Thank you, teacher.
For sure. Hello?
Teacher, ¿me puede?
Oh,
Me he prestado computadora. ¿Será que me puede poner en mi grupo con Wilson?
oh, all right. I went to the bathroom. I'm so sorry.
No
All
worries.
right.
Thank you.
All right, I guess. Oh no. All right, yes. Now we have to Álvaro Rodriguez, the new student. So, guys, at the beginning of the class, right? Oh, sorry, we're going to stop until this part, right? Because I need to ask you something. You're going to please send me the practice you made, right? So everything was good, right? The lesson was understood, right? So the only group I didn't check it was the first one. I guess it was from Paul and Wilson, right? So I'm going to check it then, right? So the point of this is because I want to let you know that we're not going to have classes on Friday, right? I asked for a permission on Friday, right? Because I have an event for that day, right? So I'm asking for a permission, right? And the coordinator told me that if you all agree with it, right? So the class of Friday, right? It could be replaced, right, by the next week, right? Entonces, estoy pidiendo permiso para faltar en un trabajo el día viernes, right? Entonces, la clase del día viernes la estaríamos reponiendo, no este sábado, right? Porque no me va a dar el tiempo. Podría ser tal vez, no pasa de que el sábado tenemos capacitaciones, nos están preparando para tomar un nuevo examen y bueno, nos toma tiempo, right? Así que el día sábado sería reemplazar la clase del día viernes, pero el sábado 3, es decir, es nuestra tercera semana. La próxima semana ya estaríamos acabando con las clases, pero el día viernes 2, como no estaríamos pasando clases el viernes, quería preguntarles si es que el sábado 3, por la mañana o por la tarde, no sé a qué hora ustedes estén disponibles, right? Les comentaba y pregunté a Hugo y Wilson si es que podían por la mañana, a las 9 de la mañana, de 9 a 10:45 tal vez, o en su defecto, en la tarde, si es que pudieran, right? Le va a chocar un poco con la capacitación que nos van a dar porque eso empieza a las 10, pero depende de ustedes, el horario que ustedes tengan, yo me acomodo, no hay ningún problema, right? Entonces, voy a preguntar uno por uno. Daniel.
Oh, teacher, I disagree with it. No, just kidding. Which is the day? Sorry.
El sábado 3. ¿A qué hora estás disponible? No sé si prefieres en la mañana o tal vez en la tarde.
En la tarde, por favor.
¿A partir de qué hora?
Desde las 2 podría ser. En
All
adelante.
right. All right, thank you, Daniel. So, how about you, Larissa?
Teacher, I can in the afternoon.
¿También en la tarde?
Sí, porfa.
¿Desde las 2 en adelante también?
Sí,
¿O
está
desde qué hora? All right, thank you. Let's continue with Hugo. Natalie?
And on Saturday it's okay anytime.
All right, thank you. A ver, vamos a ver qué vota la mayoría. Right. All right. Wilson, yes, también lo que pregunté. Pau, ¿estaría bien en la tarde para ti? Porque en la mañana trabajas.
Yeah, teacher, in the afternoon it's okay.
All right, thank you. Ahora, Wilson, ¿podrías en la tarde?
Yes, sure, I think I can do.
All right, thank you. Parece que va a ser a las 2 de la tarde. Hugo, how about you? ¿Podrías en la tarde?
I'm not sure, teacher. I'm not sure because we're playing a championship in my job.
Oh, yes, you told me. Si no pudieras en la tarde, Hugo, podemos avanzar en la mañana contigo, ¿sí?
No problem.
All right, thank you. So, all right, thank you guys. Les voy a confirmar el horario, voy a hablar con la coordinadora a ver qué me dice. Y entonces nos vemos el día de mañana, right? Para quienes no se les ha aprobado la presentación, por favor, mañana. Se les ha aprobado a Daniel, a Larisa, a Pau, ¿a quién más? A Wilson no te aprobé, a Natalie sí te aprobé, right? Solo que había un problema con tu video. Y Hugo tampoco te aprobé, así que por favor preparen su última parte para mañana, right? So that will be everything for today, guys. Y el día lunes va a ser la presentación, por favor, ¿sí? Cada uno va a presentar su speech, right? Y para mañana les voy a enviar un video, right? Yes, a TikTok. Yes, Natalie, the TikTok, right? So, para mañana les voy a preparar un video, que es lo que tienen que hacer, ¿sí? Thank you for your attention, guys. Y gracias, mil gracias por su comprensión, right? Entonces vamos a estar quedando. See you tomorrow, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
See
Have a
you,
great night.
teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you, Paul. Bye-bye.
See ya, teacher. Bye. I'm gonna try
See
to
you.
finish.
Hugo, if you can't, right, it's okay until the part you... Hugo, por último, puedes tratar de improvisar, no hay problema. Lo único que me interesa en tu presentación es que estén las fotos y que te puedas acordar de lo que vas a hablar, ¿sí?
Thanks. I got it.
All right, thank you, Hugo. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.